we cannot sing, but we can say la 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 la.
Hello everyone, welcome back. We took a little week-long hiatus, but now we're back because we're getting better. Yay! I wasn't here. I didn't make you a podcast last week because last week I was not so happy. I was having a pretty, I would say, emotional week. I kept letting my feelings get the best of me. I wasn't having a good week at work. I wasn't having a good week at home. Not like with my family or anything, just my AC, the AC went out. So it was really hot. I live in Florida and having no AC makes you kind of hot and miserable. But we got that fixed. But it was not good. And I didn't feel like coming out here and recording a podcast while I was angry. Because I don't think that's the point of this podcast. Even though I want y'all to know that I'm just like you, a regular person, and I get angry and I got to deal with that sometimes, but that's not what I'm trying to project out to the world of my anger. I'm trying to, Piper, stop. I got a cat messing with my microphone cord. But I'm not trying to be angry for the internet. That's not what I'm trying to do. I want to inspire some of y'all to try to do better in your own life by showing you my life, or at least talking about my life and what I'm doing. But it was pretty bad. Like, I was angry and irritable, and I was messing things up just by being angry. There was a showcase I had on last Saturday, where I thought I was going to do pretty good at. I did an open mic right beforehand, and the jokes did really well. But then it comes my turn to go up for my turn in the showcase, and someone skipped me. Okay, no biggie, who am I? And then someone else skipped me. And I'm like, all right, what's going on here? And then someone else skipped me. And at this point, I'm pretty pissed off. And I'm like just sitting there wallowing in my own like angriness. So by the time it's my turn to go on stage, finally, like, the energy that I was putting off was not good. And the crowd was able to read that because on my face, like, I didn't look happy and like, yay, I'm trying to make you laugh. I looked angry. So I can't do that. I can't go up on behind a microphone angry because the crowd can read emotions, or read energy at least, if not emotions. They feed off whoever is behind the microphone's energy. And I've been finding that out more and more lately. That Saturday was a big wake-up call. Like, if you don't feel good, don't do it. Or try to fucking readjust your attitude to be better, be happy, be funny. And if I'm not putting off a happy-go-lucky, what the F type of vibe, which is what I'm trying to do, I'm just like, oh, that guy is so simple. I don't know, not simple like that, but like I'm trying to, when I tell jokes, I'm trying to project a weird feeling, at least weird, if not what the F, weird. Like, I want you to feel kind of weird about this, and weird, I think, brings out humor. But that night I was not being weird, I was being angry. I was like, ugh, I can't believe I got skipped 3 times. What the freak? I'm trying to go home early. I don't want to be here. I got to drive 45 minutes back home. Come on, just let me go. Why are you skipping me? Oh my goodness, I was here for an hour before that person. Oh my God. I was so upset. And I can't hide my emotions. I'm not good at that. When I say I can't hide my emotions, if I'm feeling some type of way, especially if it's angry, most people are going to pick up that I'm not in a good mood. And that's even been happening to me at work this week. At work this week, all week at work, my air conditioner has been broken. So I've been going to work from early in the day to mid-afternoon just sweating. And by the end of the days, I've been getting pretty angry because my energy's drained out and I'm worn out and I'm dealing with all the things I have to deal with at work, and I'm sweating the whole time doing it, and it's just not comfortable. And I kind of let that get the best of me while at work this week. Luckily, I was able to fix my feelings, I guess, or not fix, or like correct them, like so I'm not bringing anger home, and so I'm not angry at home. But this week at work was not too good for me, and I was being pretty negative about it. I get bad things happen, like having no AC in Florida, like that happens. But dang, did it suck, and dang, did I let it get me. So I got to stop doing that. And anyone could try to apply this in their own life. Maybe you're not going behind a microphone to tell people jokes, but you're talking to people and you're interacting with people, and people can read your energy, whether you say something or not. It's just your vibe, bro. If you're coming around feeling upset about stuff, people are gonna have some sort of upset feeling around you. They're not gonna know why. It's just gonna. You ever go talk to someone when you're mad, and you're not being mad with them, and you're not saying anything rude to them, but they're like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" People can tell how you feel. Unless you're some sort of psychopath and you're able to hide your emotions well and just pretend very, very well. But in my experience, most people aren't that good at masking their emotions, masking their energy that they don't want the other people to pick up on. So this week I've been trying to work on that, and like I said, at work it didn't work so well. Like, it's only so much for me. There's only so much I could put up with before it's like hour 6, hour 7, hour 8, and I can't stand these people. I want to go. Hopefully this week the AC's fixed, so I don't have to keep trying to keep myself in check. But if it's not, I'm going to be more cognizant, more aware, mindful of those feelings, and try not to let it get the best of me, because I don't like being negative. I don't like being angry. Like I said, that's why I haven't stopped the nicotine, because being angry, I know that that's something that can get the better of me easily. It's one of those feelings that it's one of my go-to feelings. So if I can try not to be angry, I'm going to try. And this week I did not do that. Last week for sure I did not do that. But moving forward, like, you gotta try to present yourself as, if not happy, at least neutral, because no one wants to talk to a Debbie Downer. No one wants to hear that. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it's fun to talk shit with friends, but if that's all you're doing is just talking trash about whatever you're doing, it gets too much. And I felt like I was doing that this week. But this week was full of other things as well. On Tuesday, I went to 2 open mics that had 2 totally different vibes, 2 different energies, 2 different crowds. The first one I went to was an all arts open mic, mostly dedicated to poetry, spoken word poetry. And I brought a friend from work with me because he's a cool guy. He writes poems, but he's never told them to people. I don't think he's told them to people. He's told me a few of them. And I was like, bro, come out with me. I'm going to do this weird room that I've never been to before, and I think you'll enjoy it. And he came out, and he had a blast. He had a good time. He didn't go up and tell his poetry, but the first time I went to an open mic, I didn't go up there and tell my jokes either. You got to see what's going on. But I'm hoping that I could get him to show his heart, I guess. Show how he feels, or speak how he feels, and like get it off his chest. Because I think it's healthy for any one of us. I told y'all a couple weeks ago I wrote a poem. I haven't done any more of that because I haven't really thought about it much. But it's one of those things that if you can write down and use language to project a feeling onto other people, I think that's powerful. And there's other ways to do it. People can paint. You can be a painter. You can be a sculptor and make people feel some type of way. But I think words and language are a very, very valuable tool on expressing your feelings. Yeah, expressing a very valuable tool to express your feelings. Yay, I got words. That's why I do comedy, because I like making people laugh, and I like to do that. So the art form that I've chosen to express myself in is through the laughter word, the word of laugh, tickling people with my words. That's my goal, and I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to be more consistent. And for real, when I say that energy is a real thing, and people can pick up on it, it is real. On Friday night, again, I did 2 open mics, and the second mic, it was a bar, and there was like a wedding party there, or like a wedding rehearsal party, and these fools were just yabba, talk. And I've seen there was like 2 or 3 comedians that went up before me, and they just had a rough time dealing with it. They have their own energy. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not trying to say that they didn't have an energy, but their energy wasn't breaking through to that crowd. So I went up there, and I like, before it was my turn to go up, I like did a little, said a little prayer. I'm like, let me get this. I did a little stretching just to get my blood pumping. And I went up there with a weird old vibe, man. Like, I got up there, I'm like, hey! And I shut this whole crowd up, and they listened for a minute, but they wanted to talk. So they did what any crowd of people should do if you're at a comedy show and you want to talk. They got the fuck out. And I was so happy. So there was a room full of people that were wanting to listen to me. Granted, I'm not that funny, so they didn't laugh much, but they laughed some. And they all listened. They were all quiet, and they were listening. And I think a big part of that was I was able to command the room with simply energy. And you could do that too, whatever you're doing. If you got a problem at work, you can be upset about it. You can. You're a human being. That's a thing that we do. But I don't think people will respond well to upsetness, angry energy, even sad energy. Because some people just, me myself, I'm not really good at dealing with sad people. I don't know how to. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get through to you to let you know, like, yeah, things might suck right now, but they'll eventually get better. That's the point. That's the whole reason for life, is to find the good. And I'm not really good at helping people out of sadness. But even our upset energy, if you're mad, like, I try to make you laugh when you're mad, because it's easy to make a mad person laugh because they're already kind of cynical, and there's a lot of funny stuff and cynicism. Is that the word? I hope so. If not, whatever. So whatever you're doing, try to do it bright side up, like sunny side up. Try to look at the bright side about things. Maybe what you're going through sucks, and you're probably justified, and you have a million justifications for why you feel so crappy about everything or mad about everything. But if you could change the way you're looking at it and find maybe there's a reason for this crappiness, maybe you can make it better, and maybe you should try that. The other night, Friday, again, when I was leaving the second mic, I was on my way home. Some homeless guy tried to rob me. It was crazy. I was at a red light behind some cars and in a line of cars. And this homeless guy, he looked like he was probably on drugs. I would say crack or methamphetamines, because he had some energy. He wasn't all bent over like a question mark on the heroin on that black tar horse. He was hyped up a little bit. And so he's probably a crackhead, meth head. But he was walking up to the cars, and he was just like instead of, he didn't even try hard. Like, it wasn't like he was just, I don't know what was going through his brain, but it was some different kind of begging I've never seen before. He just walked up to the driver's side window, was like, stared directly at the driver and put his hand out, like, my money. Like, no, bro, that's not even good begging techniques, bro. I'm not gonna help you. But I probably would have if I had cash, but I don't usually carry cash, and that night was no exception. So he came up to my car, and he did his little money. And I just looked at him, gave him a little, no thanks, man. I'm sorry, I don't have anything. And I guess I got like I'm a steal from you type of face. And this guy got angry with me. I was like the third car in line, so he already went through 2 and no one helped him. And he saw me and just saw, like, I guess the short beard and the glasses. Just makes it look like you could steal from me. And this fool, he like, open your damn door. Open your door. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's midnight. I am not prepared for this. So what I did was unbuckle my seatbelt and let this guy know, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And I was like, no. Just like that. I was like, no. And he lost his shit for a second. Like, he like hit my window with like the back of his fist. Like, not hard enough to break it, not hard enough to make me feel like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to hurt someone. But hard enough to let me know he was frustrated. And I was like, go away. You don't want to do this? Because I already took my seatbelt off and I was ready. If somehow he got through that door, I was going to lay hands on a homeless man. But luckily, when I told him he don't need to do this, he put his head down in defeat and just walked away. But damn, if he wouldn't have, things could have got crazy. And looking back at it, like, I could have just drove off. There was enough space for me to drive off, but my initial instinct, like, you're gonna come confront me and try to threaten me, bro. I'm gonna defend myself. I'm gonna make sure that you know that ain't cool. So I don't think he expected this face to be so quick with that seatbelt. I was like, click, what? And I don't think he expected that from me, because I'm just a tall, skinny white guy. Yeah, skinny. Woohoo, under 200 pounds. Suck it, fatties. Don't suck it, fatties. I was a fatty. I'm talking to myself. But suck it, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates will kill you. And they'll make you inflamed. I've been finding that out this weekend, because I've been eating a lot of Krispy Kreme donuts and pizza this weekend, and my body hurts. But apparently, he thought he messed with the wrong person. And I think my energy, I was able to project that energy again. Like, don't get me wrong, I was kind of nervous because I haven't gotten a fight since I was in high school. No, I got in a fight one time in the Marines. But besides that, I don't fight people. That's not my goal. Like, I like to talk to people, and I like to talk myself. If I'm going to talk some shit, I'm going to be able to talk myself out of some shit as well. And I've been doing that since middle school, high school. I only got one fight in high school and only got one fight in the Marines. But that was just hormones, I guess. But I used my words and my energy, and I was able to get this guy to calm the fuck down and walk away, because it was not good. I don't think it was going to end up good for that man. I had about a foot on him, not a foot and a half. He wasn't 4.5 feet. I had probably close to if not a foot, about 6 inches on him, and definitely some weight, because I don't mess with the methamphetamines, bro. That's one of my hard no's in life. You can't be doing those drugs that'll get you hooked. Don't do meth, bro. Don't do heroin. Don't do crack. If you want to experiment with the other ones, man. There's other things that aren't going to hook you up. Those three, I promise you, they got some sort of brain Velcro that'll stick to your brain cells and make you need more. So I've always avoided them. You should too. Life advice from DJ Santana. But since I knew I could take him, and even if I couldn't take him, if it was someone else that came up to me like that, like, if you're going to try to threaten me, like, and I'm in a position to defend myself, I'm going to let you know that this is not going to be simple. And if that guy would have tried to rob me, he would have been so mad, because I didn't have shit. I had no cash. Like I said, there was nothing of value in my car except my phone, but that was in my pocket. And my keys to my car were also in my pocket, because if he wanted to carjack me, I would have just got out with the keys in my pocket, ran a little bit, called the police, and he would have got nowhere because he had no keys. And we probably would have had to fight that out too. But there were so many things that could have happened that didn't happen, and I'm glad none of those things happened, because I'm not someone that wants to hurt people. Like, I am prepared to defend myself if needed, but I ain't gonna go hurt people. I started a Facebook group recently to try to bring us together as a community of people that are trying to improve ourselves. You know what I mean? I think it's fun. It's not fun. I think it's a good thing to have community of like-minded individuals that are actually out there trying to improve. So if you're on Facebook, you should search for the We're Getting Better group. It's called We're Getting Better. Unlike my title, it actually has an apostrophe. because it's not were, it's we're. We are getting better. And it's a bunch of people in there. Mostly it's just been memes and talking trash about the VA, because apparently I speak to the veterans, which is cool. I'm a veteran myself, and I get that. So if you want to be part of that community, search for that group on Facebook, or go to the It's Getting Better Facebook page and just visit the group and go from there. I hope you do, because it's fun in there. There's a lot of funny memes, and there's people in there that are giving up good quotes for inspiration, man. Inspiration is something that until recently I always thought was whack. I thought it was just cliche, and just people saying things that, like, generalizations to make you feel better. But like I said last podcast, I've been trying to apply those inspirational quotes to my life. And as I do, or if I do, because some days, like I said, some days it's harder than others. But if I do try to do things that are going to try to make you feel better, or do better, or be better, it works. And it's a mindset, man. Like, you could try to change the world, but the world's a big place. There's over 7 billion people here. It's going to be very difficult to change the whole world. The people on the Facebook group said they wanted me to talk about that girl, Greta, the girl screaming at the UN about climate change and how everyone stole her childhood. I don't think that's the case, man. I've never met that lady. I don't think the President of the United States or the Prime Minister of Great Britain have talked to that young girl, Greta. I don't know her last name. I should have wrote that down. But I don't think they did anything to that girl's life. Climate change, whether it's here or not, has nothing to do with politicians. Politicians can try to make laws to force people to act a certain way. But when you try to force people to do stuff, there's going to be a counter action to that, just like Newton's laws. Every force has an equal and opposite reaction. So if you try to force people to do something, there's going to be some sort of force the other way. And that's what's happening, like, with society nowadays. You got PC culture, which the past few years, I think it's kind of like on the downhill, but the past few years, PC culture has been out there, like, telling people what they can and can't laugh at, what they can and can't say. And don't get me wrong, there's words that you shouldn't say. Like the F word talking about the homosexual community, or the N word talking about black people. You shouldn't say that. Those words have really negative connotations with that. And like I said, you shouldn't say some words just because there's no good reason. The only reason to say it is to inflict harm. Don't get me wrong, when you're talking to a friend, you throw that at your friend in like a jovial shit talking session, the F word, yeah, I guess, like, your intent is not to hate on people, but it's still negative about gay people, so gotta get that out of your lexicon of words, your vocabulary, get that out the vernacular. So I've done that recently. I'm not gonna say I've never said that word, but I haven't said it recently because I understand now, as I've gotten older, like, all right, some words just have negative feelings attached to it, and I'm not gonna say that. But if you say I can't make fun of some sort of, like, stereotypes, a stereotype's a stereotype for a reason, because some people act that way, whether it's white, black, brown, or yellow. Like, some people in certain groups act a certain way. And if you're going to make fun of it, as long as you know that, hey, we're just here having fun, I'm not hating on you, I don't hate you for doing that. And as a comedian, you got to be able to push the limits of what, or not push the limits, I don't want to push the limits, but find the limits of, all right, this goes too far, it's not funny, you're just being mean. And I hope as a society, we could remember that. I think the PC culture is getting pushed back, it's been called out. Like, South Park had PC Principal that clowns on it. And if you go on YouTube, there's an awesome comedian. He's not just on YouTube, he's in the real world in the United States of America. But Andrew Scholes, his rise to fame and glory has been all about that. Like, he doesn't give a damn. He's going to say whatever he thinks is funny, and he's going to find a way to make it funny. and he does a lot of racial humor, but he's not, you could tell he's joking. And there has to be intent behind, you have to know intent behind words before, or phrases, or jokes. It's a joke. It's made to make people laugh. And if you can't see that because you're so self-righteous and what I'm doing is right and you have to be like me, you got a problem. You got a problem. Not the people trying to make people laugh. Just because you don't find it funny doesn't mean it's not funny. There's a lot of things I don't find funny. But if other people are laughing and I know it's a joke, okay, it's a joke. Like, people could talk crap about me all day, but if I know they're just joking with me, I'm not going to get all butthurt in my feelings like, oh, I can't believe he said that about me. But like I said, it's all about intent. You can't try to force people to behave a certain way when they don't want to. Or say certain things or not say certain things. Because especially comedians in comedy, you're trying to be funny. Like, that's what comedy is. It's trying to be funny. Or if you're good at it, it's being funny. And if you're trying to tell comedians what they can and can't say because you don't think it's funny, that's your problem. That's not their problem. That's not the crowd's problem. That's your problem. If you can't separate someone's words from their intent, or see their intent in their words, you are lost. Like, if you try to pull out a segment of Bill Burr's last special and just write that on paper with no context and just read a quote from what he says, I'm sure with no context, no intent behind it, those words are mean. But if you watch him, if you listen to him, if you know who the fuck Bill Burr is, he's trying to make you laugh. So how are you going to go out of your way to say that he's an evil person, and he's racist, he's a bigot, he's this or that, when all his goal is to make people laugh? And if you can't see that intent is way more important than the word, you're lost. Back to that girl Greta, the whole perspective thing. She's trying to change the whole world, and she's not. She seems pretty upset. Like, I'm not gonna say that she's not mad or not really upset about it, because I don't know who she is, and her energy was putting off, damn, this girl's mad about climate change. But does she have to be so mad? Like, are there things that she can do to change her perspective about it? Like, maybe the world isn't going to stop using oil tomorrow because oil is in everything. This I'm pretty sure there's plastic on this microphone that's pulling down my shirt. Look at that. Nice presentation. There's plastic on my tripod. There's plastic in this chair. That's all oil. I drive everywhere. Oil. I fly some places. Oil. Oil is in everything. And you're not going to just convince the world to change just because you're mad. But if you really think that there needs to be change, what can you do to change your world? If I was really concerned about climate change, like if I thought it was as apocalyptic as all these people are saying it is, my goal would not be to go out there and tell the world that they're messing up. I would apply the principles that I want the world to do and show people, like, hey, this is possible. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's not fly halfway across the globe on a speaking tour to tell everyone how messed up they are for using fossil fuels. Let me stop using fossil fuels in everything and show you that it's possible. Just like I want to show you that you could do whatever you want. That's why I'm making this podcast. This podcast, I'm going to be real with y'all. Hardly anyone listens to it. I've got an estimated audience of less than 20 people. But you think that's going to stop me? No, man. Like, who am I? I'm no one. I'm DJ Santana, funny man, open mic comedian in the Orlando comedy scene. Who the fuck is that? Do I expect to be reaching millions of people right now? Heck no. But I expect to reach someone, and so far y'all have not let me down. At least someone listens to this, and I'm doing it for y'all right now. I'm doing it because I'm hoping that at least someone hears this and like changes their behaviors. or their thoughts on the negative aspects of their life. Instead of just thinking about how crappy everything's going, just try to make an opportunity for yourself. We have one Patreon subscriber, Josh. He's one of my friends from when I was in the Marines, and I was talking to him recently. He's in the group. He told me that this podcast inspired him to try to do better, look at stuff with a more positive outlook. And he started live streaming on Twitch, and he's trying to do his own thing. And I'm so happy about that, bro. Like, I've reached one person. I'm just one person. If I could reach one person, that's a win. And I'm happy I've done that. Anything from there is just icing on the cake. Anything more than that one guy telling me that I helped him like think about things differently, that means so much to me. And anyone else that feels that way after that, that's more than I could hope for. To hope to be rich and famous because I'm sitting in my bedroom talking to my cell phone on a little microphone that's pulling down my collar, and I probably look like a bum in this video. Like, that's not real. That's not a real goal, realistic goal. But that is a goal, don't get me wrong. One day I do hope that millions of people are listening to me. One day I hope hundreds of people or dozens of people are listening to me. But until then, like, I'm going to keep doing this because I'm not going to ever have that unrealistic goal come to fruition unless I grind it out and stick with this, stick with it while it's still small. It's still growing. It's still developing. The last podcast I had a guy in here. He was helping with the sound, and to be honest, I don't think the sound quality was much better. Like, nothing wrong with it. I'm not blaming him for anything, but I'm not in a studio. It's hard to block sound from my bedroom. My bedroom has kind of an echo feel. Like, I've put a little damper on the door over there to try to block sound because my wife's out there watching football right now. Because although you're going to hear this on Monday, it's Sunday afternoon for me. So I'm giving up football time to talk to y'all. But I know that even with that sound guy, he's a cool guy. I love that guy. Kurt, fun guy. I like talking to him. He's a cool guy to talk to. And I'm not blaming him for the sound quality. It's just, like, I'm in my bedroom, bro. Like, my bedroom is not probably the best place to record a podcast. Yet, it could be when I get better equipment. But until then, I gotta accept what I am, and I'm just a dude in my bedroom talking to my phone. So I can't expect to become rich and famous off of this. I could hope for it, and I could want to that all I want. But if I expect it to happen, I'm gonna be disappointed. So don't go into anything expecting to be great soon. Don't expect to be great soon, because that's not realistic. This isn't a lottery. This is life, man. Life, there's time. You got time for all sorts of bumps and bruises and hesitations and problems. But you also got time to grow. And one day this podcast, I hope, will be a pretty damn good one that people listen to. But until then, I'm happy talking to one person on my phone. And I hope that it grows. That's why I started the Facebook group. I'm trying to make a community of trying to get people excited to hear one day. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Like I said, I can't expect it to. Especially with my setup. If you could see what I'm looking at right now, you would laugh at that dream, because I'm laughing at it right now. I'm looking at you, my cell phone. You're on a tripod that Aunt Dot sent out because she's awesome. But you're sitting on a kitchen chair, one of my chairs for my kitchen table. And behind that, I got a lamp from my daughter's room to give me better lighting. And behind that is my dresser. So to think right now that I'm going to blow up and be the best podcaster in the world, that's not realistic. But I know that it could happen. But I know that it only will happen if I keep pushing through these the small times, man, like the hard times. The same thing with the comedy, man. I don't ever expect to be Dave Chappelle. I don't expect that, because right now that's so far like beyond my capabilities that, like, that's not, I can't even fathom that. So, but that doesn't stop me from trying. I go out there and I tell my jokes. I try to be consistent with my energy. I try to do my best. But if it doesn't work out, it's not, like I said, it's not, I don't expect it to work out soon. It's not a short-term goal. It's a long-term plan that I have that I hope one day comes to fruition. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm still having fun doing it, because the comedy scene, man, it's, you meet some people, you meet some real cool people that, like, the only other place where I've met people as open and honest and truthful as the comedy scene was in the Marines. Because in the Marines, like, you go through a whole bunch of struggles together that not many people could relate to. And it's very similar, but totally different, with the comedy scene. Everyone knows that it's hard. We all know that trying to be funny is not an easy task, especially being funny, like telling jokes. Like, you can be funny with your friends, whatever. But to be consistently funny for however long you have the microphone and just keep getting laughs and laughs and laughs and laughs, that's a hard thing to do. So you got to respect other people for trying, and because of that, you could relate to them, their struggles, and you could be more open and truthful with these people. And that's really fun for me in doing comedy, because when I got out of the Marines, I missed that. That was the only thing I've missed about being in the Marines, was the camaraderie, the brotherhood. It was a brotherhood for me, because I was in 08 in artillery, and all I ever hung out was with dudes. So it was like a brotherhood of Marines where you could just say whatever you want to say to these people, and yeah, they might judge you a little bit, but they're not gonna like chastise you for trying for saying what you got to say. It's what's on your mind. Same thing with the comedy. Like, don't get me wrong, some people say some shit and you're like, what? But if they're not being hateful, like, there's nothing really to say besides make a little joke at their expense. Because sometimes people do say some stupid shit. But like I said, as long as there's no hate in that intent and they're trying to be funny, give it to them. Let them say it. There's some people that aren't like that, though. They're like in everything. In the Marines, there was people that didn't want to hear your bullshit. And even in the comedy scene, there's some people that you try to talk to and they just don't want to hear it. And I get that. Talking and being open with people ain't for everyone. But it's something that I missed deeply when I got out of the Marines. And I'm glad I've been able to find that through comedy. So at the very least, if I never blow up and become the most famous comedian in the whole world, I have that. I've got friends I've grown a liking to, man. I've got real friends, like people that I could just call or text randomly and about bullshit, and it's fun to do, and it's something that I'm glad I've got, because the time between the Marine Corps and starting comedy was kind of depressing for me. I was in a funk. I was going to college, whatever, but college, I don't want to sound better than I am, but college didn't seem like the challenge that everyone put it out to be. It was pretty simple. Just show up, do your work, and that was it. And I passed and I got good grades through college, and it was too simple. And then with my current job, it's difficult, but it's not like, it's a different kind of difficulty. Like, it's an emotional difficulty. It's you're trying to make an influence on people, and some people just, it ain't working. And that's really wearing on you. And you could try different ways to reach those people, and you could try, but not always will it work. And that difficulty it's hard, but the whole aspect of the job, the work that I got to do, what am I even saying? But the work that I have to do to get through the day is not difficult, and I can do it, and I think I do it pretty well. I'm not going to say I'm the best at it, because I know I'm not the best at it. I know there's people that are way better at my job than me, but it's not something that I, like, every day I'm just like, oh, I don't know how I'll ever do this, because some days it's just like, oh, I got this, and it works. But with comedy, it is difficult. It is very, very, very hard. Because sometimes you think something's funny and it's not. And being a new comedian, like I'm learning that there's different levels to comedy. Like I could sit out there and tell a dick joke and yeah, it'll get some laughs, but it's got to be more than that. It's got to be a little bit deeper than just a phallic reference. And I've been trying to do that. Like I've got one joke that's what it is. It's talking about wieners, and it's so stupid. But when I first said it, it was very just more vulgar than it needed to be, but it worked. But as I'm trying to tweak it and make it better, like I've gotten different levels to it, I guess. And now this weekend I wrote yesterday I wrote 2 new jokes. I'm going to test them out today, and I'm kind of nervous about it. It's always fun. It's when you have something new, like it's exciting. But dang, I hope they're funny because I think they are. One's about the attempted robbery, and the other one's about I'm not going to tell y'all because I don't want to give it away. But the one, I hope both of them are funny, but if they're not, I think I'm going to keep working on them. But the second one, it isn't funny. I don't know. I might just drop that right away because it's kind of a touchy subject. But I think it might work, and it could work. I think so. But I still don't have a punchline for it. I mean, I've got a little punchline, like, because it's more than just I don't just tell one-liner jokes. I tell stories, and I don't think I have the full story developed yet for the second one. So it's going to be a work in progress. I'm going to have to figure that out. Because I want to tell that joke. I think it's a good one. I think it's something that some people might need to hear. Because that's all comedy is for me. Comedy, I'm telling my truth, and people are like, DJ, what is your truth? What does that even mean? My truth is the way I see it. My interpretation of the world around me. And I'm going to try to do it in a funny way. And some of the things I'm going to say are serious. Some of the things I'm going to say are just made up nonsense. But the point is, this thought came through my head, and I want to give it to you in a funny way. So I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm excited to try these new jokes out because I think they're a little bit deeper than the stuff I've been saying. There's another level to this game. And it's very important to, when you're trying anything new, you can't compare yourself to experts, man. You can't, because you'll always be disappointed. Before I ever started open micing, I went and saw, the first comedy show I ever saw was Theo Vaughn. And I don't know if you know Theo Vaughn, but he's a comedian. He's pretty damn funny. He's got a couple podcasts, and he's pretty funny on those podcasts. But I went and saw him, and for the first 15 to 20 minutes of his set, I thought I was going to die. I thought the 500, 600 people in that room with me were also going to die because we were laughing our asses off. Like on the side of our chairs, like just falling out of our chairs, like ah! My wife had to get up a few times to go pee, like because she's got a weak bladder because of childbirth. So she had to go pee a few times during this set. And afterwards, I went in my car and I was like, what am I thinking? I can't do that. I want to be a comedian. That's a dumb idea. And I freaked myself out. And I was just like, nope, not doing that. Because I can't do that. And then a couple weeks went by and I went to an open mic. And then I compared myself to newcomers. And I was like, oh, I can do that. And that's where I am. That's what I started doing. The next week I got up. Actually, it took me 2 weeks. I got on the bump list the first week. Then the next week I got up and I told some jokes. Some people laughed, and I was like, I'm doing this now. I wish that I would have decided on doing this earlier in life, because as a grown-up with a career and a family, it's hard to do every day. And when I say hard to do every day, it means I'm not doing it every day, because I've got my own obligations I got to deal with. I've got some stuff that I got to get done for work. I've got some stuff I've got to just do with my family. I've got to spend time with them, because I don't want to just be out there chasing my dream and saying F you to everyone else around me. It's not who I want to be. I want to I want to be with my people, and I want to do what I have to do. But I also want to be a funny person. So I go out there at least 3 times a week, especially on mics, on nights where I go to more than one open mic, so I can get more stage time and time behind the microphone and practice to hopefully one day I start getting paid for this. That's the first goal. The first goal is to get paid $20. Get paid $5. I want my first step on my long-term plan of being the best comedian in the whole wide world is to start getting paid. And I don't know when that's going to come. I don't know how to make that happen besides going out there and showing the comedians that are out there that I could do this, and I'm not just just doing this for fun, even though it is just for fun, because it really is just for fun. And I want to one day be able to be totally dependent on just my talking to people to make an income. Because in my career, although I do like it, I hope I don't retire from it. I don't have no problems if I did, but my goal is I want to be independent, to be totally self-reliant on what I can do, and not have to depend on how a boss wants me to do stuff, or how a coworker is doing stuff, or how other people above the boss are doing stuff or want me to do stuff. I want to just do me professionally. And does that mean I'm going to slack off in my job in the interim? No, man, I'm going to try my best, because I think that I should get paid for something that I'm not trying to be really good at. So I'm going to keep doing my best at what I'm doing, but I'm also going to try my best at comedy, the best I can. And like I said, if I was younger, I'd be able to be out there every single night. If I had no obligations, I could dedicate my entire life to trying to be funny. But to be realistic, I can't do that. So I'm going to do what I can and go out a few nights a week, try to hit up more than one open mic a night, and try to show people that I've got some funny in me. And I think I was talking to y'all one time about I was confused about when to try new stuff and blah, blah, blah. I'm not really so confused anymore. Like I said, I've got 2 new jokes. I'm going to try to work those out. And I'm not, like I said, I keep saying like I said, but I am nervous about trying these new jokes, but I'm not nervous of how I'm going to say them. I'm not like, ooh, how do I bring this up? Because I was kind of worried about my style. Like, I thought I only told jokes in like a story type form. And recently, this past 2 weeks, I've been able to tell a little chunk, stop, pause, wait, hold it, change subjects, and it works. So I'm not really confused, not really worried about the flow of it anymore, because that was just a limitation I put in my own brain. As soon as I got over that, it works. I could talk about this topic for a minute or two and then jump to that topic. And as long as it's funny, and as long as they know that a transition had happened, and without even, I don't have to say the transition, but a decent pause, or let them sit down and laugh for a second and then change topics. It's pretty simple. So don't be, I think that's something you could apply in your life somehow. Don't stick to a style that you think you have to do. Don't stick to doing the same thing if you're trying to do something different. If you notice something about you is not working the way you want it to work, change it. Why not? People have been telling me that they're confused about my voice when I talk on the microphone. Because I don't know if you noticed it, in the first couple episodes you might have noticed it, my voice kind of changes sometimes when I'm trying to be funny. I get a southern drawl, and because I talk a little slower, but I do that on purpose. I talk slower on purpose because when I talk fast, I jumble my words together. You notice that a lot in this podcast. I get ahead of myself. My words come out faster than my brain can think them, and I just mesh up words. And when I'm telling jokes, I want you to be able to know what I'm saying so that you could laugh when you need to laugh. So I found that I have to slow my voice down. That's a weird phrase. I got to slow my voice down so that everyone has a chance to hear me and get it. Because what good's it telling a joke if no one hears it? No one gets the setup. No one understands what you're talking about when I say the punchline. Like, wait, why is he, what? So I slow myself down. And I don't think it's a problem because I'm not trying to copy anyone. I'm not trying to mimic anyone. It's just who I am. And if I got to talk slow to get it through to people, I'm going to talk slow. But it's not something that because like I said, I am mindful that it's happening, and I do noticeably, or I do in my head, think about talking slower. So that is something that I am aware of, and I'm cognizant of, and I'm doing that on purpose. So I don't know why I'm talking about this, but it's not really a problem. But people have noticed it. They're because I've been coming out of my shell more in the comedy scene, being able to talk to more people. And if all you ever heard was me tell jokes without me talking to you just normally, you might think that I'm pretty Southern. But I'm not. I grew up in Buffalo, New York. I moved down here when I was in high school. Then I lived in, I lived in California for a long time, and now I'm back in Florida. So I wouldn't call myself a Southerner. I'm just a transplant. But I don't know why I'm talking about this, honestly. It's not something that I want to change because I don't think there's an issue with it. It's not something that, it's not like, because someone told me the other day, oh, I noticed you do this. I used to do something like that when I first started. He said he used to try to have Kevin Hart's mannerisms. And I get that, why that didn't work for you, because that's not who you are. But who I am is who I am. I'm me, and I'm going to do the things the way I'm doing it. People have also said that they've never heard anyone in their life speak the way I speak. So that's something. That's a positive in my book. I want to be unique. I want to be as much me as I can. And if that means it's going to be a little weird, shifting from my voice on stage to my voice in normal life, so be it, bro. Because I'm not acting. I'm just trying to speak slower. So if you don't like it, maybe it ain't for you. But if you do like it, I like you too. And I still like you if you don't like it. I just understand, bro. I'm trying to be me. And I'm not like homeboy, the one dude said that he's never heard anyone speak like that before in his life. I'm glad, because I'm not trying to be like anyone else. Sure, there's people that influence me, and I like their energy and the way they present themselves. Like I said, Theo Vaughn. He's my favorite comedian right now because he has, his brain is just full of what the F is going on here. And he's a silly guy, and I like that stuff a lot. Same thing with Mark Norman. I don't know if you're aware of Mark Norman, but this man is hilarious, and he's very awkward. But he's no one's like him. No one's like Theo Vaughn. Mitch Hedberg. No one is ever going to be like Mitch Hedberg. I get those people influence me, but I'm not trying to be them. I'm not trying to do it like them. I'm just trying to do it like me. And you should try to do whatever you're doing as much as you can, especially if it's an art form. If you're trying to express yourself, if what you're doing isn't just a systematic approach of do this, then this, then this, then that, and you have results. If you're trying to cook dinner for your cook dinner for your family, and you follow a recipe, sure, that recipe is going to work. But after you get the recipe down a few times, or use a few different recipes, you can start to come up with your own little mix and match the ingredients to make something good. Don't get me wrong, I've followed many recipes in my life, and I still follow recipes, especially with stuff I've never cooked before. But as soon as I am comfortable with it, and I've made it a few times, and the recipes turned out right, because I never get the same recipe. I have one cookbook, and that's from my mother, and that's how I make my meatloaf, because meatloaf is bomb diggity. Burp. Excuse me. To you on my phone, because you're the only one here. But as soon as I'm done with that recipe and I got it down, Then I start messing around with it. I'll throw in a little extra thyme, throw some rosemary in there, get some turmeric, bro. You ever mess with turmeric? That has some good flavors. I made some curry the other day, and I've only made curry like by a recipe like twice, and I was like, I can do this. I know the components that a curry should have, so I made my own curry, and it was pretty dang good. Jerk chicken, bro. Man, I can make some good jerk chicken. I hear you out there, you're like, okay, Mr. Cultural Appropriation over here. I don't give a fuck. It's food. I'm going to cook good food. And whether another culture made it first or not, hey, don't get me wrong. I'm going to go to a Jamaican restaurant and get some good, like some even better jerk chicken. But in the interim, I'm going to make it myself because it can't be affording to go out every night. So I'm going to make some food that's from other cultures, because what is American food? You know what I mean? What is that? Like, I eat hamburgers. Cool, but hamburgers ain't what I'm trying to live off of. I like a good hot dog every now and then. I like some pizza, but I'm not trying to only eat the same thing that I have to eat because that's my culture. And I don't expect anyone to expect me to do that, because I think I'm just making up a hyperbole of PC culture. But I'm gonna cook food. I'm gonna cook food from all sorts of cultures. I made pho once. That was super duper good. I was so happy with that. And I made pho before I ever even had pho. And I went a couple weeks ago to this Vietnamese restaurant around the corner from my house. And bro, my pho was not as good, but it was very similar to that pho. And I was like, oh dang, I ain't gonna mess with tripe at home because I'm not sure what tripe is. And I'm not gonna buy that, but I'll go to a restaurant and get some tripe in my soup because they're experts. You just gotta give the people due credit where they have it. You ever had a Jamaican meat patty, bro? That's so much better than a Hot Pocket. So much better. But I'll tell you what, I can go to the store right now and get a Hot Pocket for $2.50. I can't go. You can buy frozen meat patties, but they're not as good as fresh meat patties from the Jamaican restaurant or from the bodega or from wherever they are. Like empanadas, very similar. Like I said, we got Hot Pockets here in America. We done sucked out that culture and spit out a Hot Pocket. But an empanada is way better than a Hot Pocket. That doesn't mean a Hot Pocket ain't still good. It's sold in every grocery store in America. There's got to be something to it. But don't get me wrong, if you could sell meat patties frozen with a crisping sleeve like they have on the Hot Pockets, I'd probably never eat a Hot Pocket again and just buy some Jamaican meat patties, because damn are they delicious. Throw some hot sauce in there. Ooh. Get some oxtail soup, bruh. Man, I don't even know what an oxtail is. I'm assuming it's from an ox. But where the fuck do you get an ox from? And why do they have so many tails? But their soup is so good. Throw it on some rice. Oh, love it. I gotta make some oxtail soup. I want to figure that out. That sucks about living in Florida. My biggest complaint about Florida is always the heat. And the heat messes up so much stuff. Like, I want to go out and hike the woods, but I don't like to sweat so much, and I'm a sweaty boy. And I'm glad I lost weight, so now it doesn't look like I'm just big and sweaty. Now I'm just a sweaty guy. So going outside and walking in the trails, like, it's so miserable. But that also takes away from my soup making experiences, because although I love me some soup, I don't want to make it so much, because soup is a hot food, very hot food, and it warms your whole body. And so if it's already 85 degrees with 97% humidity, I don't want to be more hot. So maybe I should relocate soon. I don't know. I say that a bunch, but probably not going to happen for a while. I just want to be able to make soup, bro. This podcast just goes off the rails. What the point of everything I'm trying to say is, if you could change your perspective about stuff, you could change the world. If you could look at things for what good are they trying to do, you could see your world's gonna get better. Like I said, people on the Facebook group wanted me to talk about Greta, and I really don't have much to say about her, because she's just a young lady that's upset, and maybe she thinks that's the best way to go about stuff. I don't really agree that her methods are the way to do things, but she's out there at least trying to to make her world the world she wants to live in. But I do think if she were to be able to change her perspective and look inwardly on how she could improve or show that sustainable energy is the way to go, instead of just yelling and screaming about it, I think she'd have a better outlook on the world. Because you could focus on the negatives all day, because the world's full of them. There's negative aspects to everything. Like, I could have just been traumatized by this homeless guy trying to rob from me, and just now I could be prepared to defend myself against homeless people that are just always going to come and try to rob me. I've seen homeless people my whole life. That's the first time I've ever had like a negative interaction with someone, besides like just talking shit to each other, because like I've talked shit with a homeless guy before, because he talked shit about me not having no money. So I'll talk shit, but I've never felt like threatened by a homeless person before until that night. And I could, like I said, I could sit there and like, oh, homeless people are bad and they're trying to rob people. But when I told him no, and I told him to calm the fuck down, and I told him, I was like, you don't want to do this, bruh. He put his head down and he walked away. And instead of just having a negative outlook on that, I decided to make it a joke. And I hope that joke works today. I'm gonna try it out. Because it's so stupid. Comedy's a bitch. But I love her, man. Because you never know what's going to work. And if it works one time, you don't know if it's going to work the next time. So you got to just keep trying. I don't know what else I got to say, but change your outlook, change your perspective. Don't look at things negatively. Even if you're in a negative situation, maybe it's just setting you up for the next part of life. Maybe you're going through some struggles right now definitely you're going through some struggles right now, but maybe it's for a reason. Maybe it's to prepare you for what's to come. How I look at my childhood now and my young adult life, where I was angry a lot, and like I grew up in foster care and then got adopted by a family that's Puerto Rican. Like that was a weird thing for me, especially being a white dude. Like, and it kind of messed me up. It made me like resentful a lot, and I was almost always angry. Like that was like my default emotional go-to. Just I was either angry or laughing happy. Not like happy, not just content, but like I had to be laughing or I was angry. I pushed away sadness, didn't really have just contentness. But now I'm trying to be more well-rounded in the way I look at things. I'm using, instead of just sitting and dwelling on the past and how crappy things were and blah, 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 and oh, that's why I'm so angry, I'm trying to tell my story in jokes. Try to make my story funny. Make other people laugh at it, because yeah, it's a shitty life, bro. It was kind of shitty. It was different. It's not something that I wish anyone would go through, but people do go through it. People go through it all the time. I was not the only person ever in foster care. I was not the only person that ever got adopted by a whole different culture than what I was used to. I'm not the only person that joined the Marines and had not a great time doing it. But I could tell my story and let y'all laugh at it, to let you know, hey, even bad things aren't all that bad, because we're still alive. We have another day. We can still improve. We could try to be better. Try, but you have to try, and you have to change your perspective. If you're stuck in that rut of negativity, everyone's against you, it's all their fault, I'm never gonna make it, it's never gonna do good for me, blah, 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 blah. Change your fucking mind, bro. It's your mind. There's nothing wrong in changing. There's nothing wrong in that. People, especially when you're young, people always try to make you feel bad for changing your opinions on stuff. But why would you feel bad about changing? You're especially if you're doing something that you don't enjoy doing. Try to be better. Change your mind. Change the way you think about stuff. If you change the way you think about stuff, you could change the way stuff really is. I don't know how the fuck that word works. If you could change your perspective, you could change the world. And you have to. You have to look at things for either positively or setting you up for something positive later on in life, no matter how bad it is. And I know, like, There's going to be situations. People are going to be like, oh, so this terminal cancer diagnosis is it's got something better for me to come? Maybe. I hope so. And if not for you, for the people around you. Maybe there's always a bright side to everything. And I know it's not easy to say. It's not easy to hear sometimes, because some things are really fucking horrible. I get that, and I'm not trying to diminish that at all. But I'm trying to, for the individual, for you, for one person, if you could change the way you look at that negative thing that may have happened to you, you can live a better life. You can be happier. You can be happy. Dude, it's good to be happy. It's so good to be happy. Because what's the alternative, man? Sadness, and misery, and anger, and just guilt? Like, no, man. Fuck that. Try to change the way you look at it. Change your perspective. Be happy. And I'm going to leave y'all on that. But I'm also going to tell you to go to my patreon.com/DJ Santana and subscribe, please. Because I want to get better equipment. I want to make this podcast better. And I'm broke. And I can't just afford to go buy a laptop and some microphones and some sound editing software. I want your help to help me get better. Please. Or you don't have to. You can just go like the Facebook page. It's Getting Better Podcast. What is it? I don't know. But I'm on this Instagram too, at It's Getting Better _podcast. You can follow the page there. You can follow me personally, my comedian account at DJ Santana Funny Man. Just try to give me more exposure. I'm trying to get known. The more people that see me, the more people that will know that I'm real. The more chances I have to be shared through the world. Me and my wife, we started a video series. We're trying to make like just quick skit videos of just stuff as married people do or family life. And I've been trying to make one every Sunday and put it on the internet Sunday to be shared through the world. And I'm hoping that one day that kicks off, and I'm hoping one of those can go viral, because I think they're pretty funny. If you go to at DJ Santana Funny Man on Facebook or Instagram, you can find them. Like, I've got 2 videos up. I think they're pretty funny. Are they the funniest things ever? Probably not, but I think you might enjoy it. And I'm going to be doing that every week. But that's all I got for this week. I hope you try to get better. I hope you change your mind about things, change your outlook, change your perspective. Because if you can do that, I promise you, things around you will get better. If you could look at stuff half full, be the pessimist. Or nope, don't be the pessimist. I'm an idiot. Be the optimist. Be the optimist. Look at things good, positively, and things will be more positive for you. But you've got to do that. I can't change your mind. Your mom can't change your mind. Your wife can't change your mind. Your boyfriend can't change your mind. Your friends can't change your mind. You have to change your mind. Change the way you do things. Change your perspective. Change the world. I'm DJ Santana, and it's getting better.
La 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 la.